Hey everybody, Carl Schilling here again with you. And today I want to speak to you agents just like we speak to the public when it comes to financial victimization. In fact, to date, one of our main concerns, the reason we have financial concierges is we help people avoid financial victimization. And to date, we have saved the public directly over $8.5 million. Now, in this video, on your lower left corner, there's a white paper and it's called Agent Advocacy. So today I'm going to talk to you about some of the financial victimizations that agents in our industry are put through on a regular basis. We just finished a 90-day study where, I put up the money and we were trying to use the concept of robocalls because I see it out there so much. There's so many different lead generation companies pounding on agents about how to use live connects. Now, in this video, we have a live connect, and I use these videos as a way to get people to call me live direct. Okay. So once again, you have to be aware of several things. Okay. So we did a 90-day study. We were able to find how to get those calls done for as little as 0.8 of one penny. So less than a penny for the actual minutes, which represents in a form of minutes, you end up with about 92% of that being actual calls. Okay. Now, all these lead generation companies are using these same wholesale opportunities we found. So you don't have to go through a third party, anybody. You go directly to the people who give you the calling system and do the things. Okay. So here's some of the numbers, just so you know. Okay. I want you to recognize the numbers because these are not made up numbers. These are the real numbers. Okay. So in 90 days, I batched over 200,000 calls. 200,000 calls. I split them up because I was calling agents like yourself because I'm trying to get agents into our system. So 50% went to agents, 50% went to consumers, okay? Figuring that if we were able to drive leads, we could share that and show agents we can develop leads as well. So we looked at the thing totally honest and upfront, okay? Now, the hang-up rate or the disconnect rate, on average, here's the deal, 99.58, 99.5, a little over 99.5% of agents hung up. A little over that on the public was a little higher. It's like 99.6% hung up immediately, okay? The average call time on this, this includes people who went to a live connect. These include people at some point during the phone who connected in on a +1 or who listened to the whole call and left it in their voicemail. Okay, right? Here's the deal. 6 seconds. 6 seconds. Okay, now we did calls of 15 seconds and 30 seconds, but it makes no difference. People can tell you, oh, it's the call. Oh, it's the script. It's not. Because the average length of time that someone listens is 6 seconds or less. It takes about, once you answer the phone, it takes about 1.5 seconds for the phone call to start. That's number one. It doesn't immediately, the minute you answer. So that's a 1.5 seconds right there. And then on average, 6 seconds. So people didn't even listen for 3 or 4. It takes about 2 for you to hang up. Okay. So here's the deal, 6 seconds, so that's about nothing. Live connects, people who actually connected to actually have a conversation of 100,000 phone calls, 100,000 calls on the agent side, about 182 connected through. 182, okay? By the way, of the 182 who connected through, there probably was a good 40% of them who just wanted to complain that they got the call to begin with. You get that. You got some people who, but you got 3 or 4% of the public who's going to complain no matter what. Okay, so right off the bat, almost half of those calls were people who were irate that they clicked through to complain. So on the consumer side, a little worse, 124 people. Now that's less than 1%. Now all of these services will tell you that you're going to get about 1%. You're not. Okay, in this case, you're getting about 1/5 of 1% or less. Okay, so it's really not a lot. Now, how many sales came from all of that? Absolutely none. And a lot of reasons for that. But so on the cost per sale here, it's a total loss. It's a total loss. Now, let me show you where the money is, because everybody says, oh, well, then why do people do it? Where's the money? Oh, here's the money. Okay, here's the money. First of all, you've got services, and I'm not going to name them. You can find them all the time. You'll be bombarded by them. But you've got services who'll charge you anywhere from as low as $16 all the way up to maybe $30 or $40 for that live connect. Okay, they're telling you that for every live connect, we're going to charge you anywhere from $16 to $40. So let's do the math on that. Okay, $800 would buy about 100,000 calls. Okay, at that point in time, 100,000 calls would drive about 180, 160, 150 responses. Okay, and by the way, they're not good responses, but you drive about 150 responses. 150 times anywhere from at $20 is $3,000. At $30, right? At $30 it's $4,500. As low as $16, it's still it's still about $2,000, $2,200, $2,300. Okay, so the bottom line is that's still 2, 3, 4, maybe in some cases 5 times the investment to do the calls, and you could do the calls on much larger numbers and maybe possibly have a little more, squeak out a few more leads here or there. Now, the people making the real money are the service providers that I went to, because it's anywhere between 0.8 of a cent. You got to buy a big bundle, but it's up to 8 cents a minute. 8 cents a minute on smaller bundles. So you could sell 10,000 minutes at $800, just like the 100,000 minutes at $800. Okay, so 10,000 minutes is not even worth doing, because it would bring back absolutely nothing in that comparison. Okay, that would be 1 or 2 people, for an $800 investment. So anyway, let me tell you, all these things are not what they appear to be. They're totally legitimate, they're totally legal, but you got to understand, where is the money? The money, who's making the money, and how are they making the money? It's your money, but your money's being grabbed on an unbelievable basis. Now look, there are companies and there are opportunities everywhere that are good. There's final expense companies that are very good, and that's wonderful. It's a great career. There's mortgage insurance companies that are good, and that's wonderful. And so not all are bad. I'm not saying every single one of them. I'm just saying to you that, in order to get to the top 10%, in order to get up into that stratosphere, in order to make a lot of money, you could do it wherever you're at. There's no doubt about it. But you have to be really, really open-minded and concerned in what it is that you see and what people tell you. Okay, so here's the reality. We've done it. And by the way, robocalls are under grand scrutiny. I don't think robocalls are going to last another 2 years, if that. Okay, they're under regulatory scrutiny right now. It's a major problem, and most of your cell phone carriers are now giving you software where you can immediately carve out the robocalls, right? You can shut them down immediately, with certain software coming into your cell phone. So it's a losing field. It doesn't work. I did it because I thought maybe it would work. We would give it a shot. We would give it a shot, and we would try and see if we could build our agency force with the financial concierges and also build leads, for them as well. Did it? Doesn't work. Okay. So regardless what people tell you, they can say, oh yeah, it was the message. It wasn't worded right. It wasn't, look, when you got an average 6-second length before someone hangs up. And by the way, the blocked call on this, because you can get the statistics on the blocked calls. The blocked calls is almost 100%. 100%. Okay. So I got to ask yourself this in all your marketing. This is a key question. And same with advertising. This is a key question. Do you like to receive robocalls? do you respond to robocalls? Chances are you're like the 99.5% of people who don't. And if you don't, they don't. People are not different. Your offering is not the magic silver bullet that they got to get so excited about and jump up and down about. They feel aggravated. They don't want it. It's the same thing with a lot of advertising. You got to wonder about all these companies that spend all these dollars in advertising and then turn around and they got to make 4 or 5 times their money on their advertising. They have to if they're going to be in business. So where are they making the money after doing all that advertising? Okay? It's not making sales. The sales they're making are you. You're buying the lead that they are promoting to you. So, and lastly on this, again, I'm going to share one other thing that we shared, in training for prospecting. So here it is. Here's the deal. 1, people don't like to be bothered, just like you don't like to be bothered. That's number 1. So don't throw money after bothering people. That's just white noise. White noise ain't going to get you anywhere, no matter what people tell you. Second thing on this is that when you get a lead, whether you pay $16 for a lead, $10 for a lead, $8 for a lead, $50 for a lead, I got to ask you a serious question that somehow goes over our head and we don't ask ourselves. When you get that lead, have you ever spoken to those people? Now think about it. Think hard. Have you ever spoken to those people when you get the lead? Now we know the answer is no, you haven't. So what is it? When you get that lead, it's a cold call, folks. It's a cold call. In some cases, you paid $50 for a cold call. Could have made the same cold call for 10 cents. Could have found the same data, could have found the same information, could have found everything you needed to know about that person you're getting ready to cold call. All of this, we qualified them. We did this for you. We did that for you. We got you a sit-down appointment. You pay $75, we get you the appointment. Please, common sense. Are you buying the goose or you're buying the eggs? If you're buying the goose, you're getting manipulated. $75 for an appointment that someone else is making for you is a manipulation. You could hire someone for $10 an hour who could make you 2-3 appointments an hour. $10. Okay, there are services out there. That you could get almost 20-30 hours a month for $300 to $400. They're called virtual assistants. You could have virtual assistants making phone calls for you, doing whatever you want them to do. You train them. Some are good, some are not. Over time, you weed through them. What's $300 or $400 a month in comparison to $300 or $400 a week for a cold call? Look, I'm just trying to share with you. We're not anti-lead here. We're not anti-lead generation business. No, not at all. We're just trying to share with you some of the facts, some of the reality. Come on. Come in with us at Financial Concierge University. Get trained, get coached. We'll be here for you. I don't need you to leave your companies you're with. We don't force you. The training is still there regardless. You could stay with your carriers. You could stay with your organizations. We'll just help you sell more. We have a lot of opportunities. If you want to sell with some of the carriers that we use specifically, now in the Middle Class Millionaire plan, you have to use our carrier. That's it. But that's a unique plan. Anything else, you're on your own. You could do whatever you want to do. We're just going to help you do more of it. We're going to show you how to cross-sell. We're going to show you how to avoid all of these loss of money opportunities that you just throw money after constantly and just get frustrated. Do you know that of all the paid leads in this industry, and real estate is worse, but do you realize that people who pay for leads, in the first 24 hours of those leads they get, over 95% of them are never contacted in 24 hours. And some of these leads are sold 4 and 5 times. In the first 24 hours, 95% are never contacted. Over 7 days, 90% are never contacted. And in some cases, there's a 30-day window in which it's almost after 30 days, it's 100%. People just never used the lead. They paid for something they never even used. Those numbers are ridiculous. People are losing a lot of money. Agents are being manipulated. Read this paper about agent advocacy and just see how some of this is done. Okay, just see how they tweak your emotions and what they're doing. Just read it. Take the time to read it. Okay, I'm out again. You got the call. You got the live connect right there. Call me. Dial your number. It'll connect to me live. Okay. Have a wonderful day. Good selling out there. Go get them. I like to see everybody out there making six figures, helping people become financially independent. Take care.